In the 2006-2007 NHL season, the Los Angeles Kings had a problem. Their star goalie, Matthew Garon, was out with a finger injury. Yutaka Fukufuji was set to back up Barry Brust. Yutaka stopped 4 out of 5 shots he faced. Unfortunately, Los Angeles lost that game 5-6. Fukufuji wound up starting his second game. He went 6-9 before being pulled. In his third game, he put up his best performance, stopping 17 out of 18 shots. Unfortunately, also lost that game. In total, Fukufuji stopped 36 out of 43 shots, and Los Angeles lost every game he played in the NHL. However, it's not all bad. He did wind up doing fairly well in the AHL, the NHL's development league. Unfortunately, that's his entire NHL production, as Los Angeles did not wind up re-signing him. Hello, my name's Ben. I am a longtime hockey fan and funny history-obsessed guy. Hope you enjoy the video. This is NHL in Japan. The NHL is not short of Japanese players, though. Nick Suzuki wound up captaining the Montreal Canadiens for a good while, and Paul Kariya is one of the best NHL players to ever lace them up. But both of them were born in North America, the United States and Canada, respectively. I love Paul Kariya. He's awesome. I want his jersey, honestly. Anyway, Fukufuji was one of 3 Japanese-born players to be drafted to the NHL ever. Obviously, Fukufuji went to LA in 2004, Hiroyuki Miura to Montreal in the 90s, and in 1974, Taro Sugimoto became the most infamous Japanese player to ever be drafted to the NHL. The 1970s were troublesome for the NHL, to say the least. The WHA, the World Hockey Association, was doing an attempt at competing with the NHL, which hadn't really been done since the war. The WHA would sign players that the NHL had already drafted before the NHL could wind up signing them. This completely ruined the draft system the NHL had, so they wound up putting in place a secretive one through the phone that took a long time. The Buffalo Sabres GM, Punch Imlach, was not having it. Side note, the players in the 40s, this isn't even just a hockey thing, have insane names. You look at guys named Punch Imlach and think, oh, he's got a great name. But then you look at the rest of them. There's a guy whose name was Boom Boom Jeffrion. Imlach and his crew decided to move operations to a Japanese resort, both to take advantage of the extensive time they had and to have the league pay exorbitant long-distance fees because phone bills were a thing back then. To pass the time, because it was something like 3 hours between drafts, his group wound up going to a Tokyo Katanas game. The Tokyo Katanas being, at the time, the best NHL team in Japan. There, they saw a young Taro Sugimoto putting up 5 goals and 3 assists in one game. Insane numbers, even for, foreign league stats. Imlach wound up asking an equipment manager how often Taro did this, and the equipment manager responded with, that was a bad game for him. Insane. It was apparently his worst performance in 4 games. That's some numbers there. Just in case you didn't know, goals is pretty good. Taro Sugimoto wound up having a exceptional NHL career, putting up the same numbers the whole time. He lived on happily ever after. Just kidding. Nuh-uh. You thought. The Buffalo Sabres management never went to Japan in 1974. The Buffalo Sabres management did not go to a Tokyo Katanas game. Did you hear the word Tokyo Katanas and think, oh, that's a real team? Nuh-uh, they're the Buffalo Sabres. Obviously, that's a lie. But the Buffalo Sabres did draft a player named Taro Sugimoto, who played for the Tokyo Katanas. Punch found the name from a grocery store owner in Buffalo. He wound up asking him what a common name in Japan was. Man said Taro. From there, Sabres, Katanas, pretty obvious. They did all this to protest the draft. It was not efficient in the slightest, and the NHL wound up going back on it. So that winds up meaning that Yutaka Fukufuji was the only Japanese-born NHL player to ever play an NHL game. The Buffalo Sabres made up a hockey player from Japan and drafted him. Recently, though, there has been a player with Taro Tsuchimoto's talent. Ito Iguchi garnered YouTube fame when his clips found their way to Canada. He had crazy talent. I'm telling you, at 11, he was putting up crazier numbers than some players from Canada. The guy has skills that are genuinely NHL caliber. He is one of the best players in the world at his level, let's say. He's actually brought the Japanese national team to a few gold medals. Bear in mind, these are the tier below all the good national teams, i.e. Canada, the US, Finland, Russia. Unfortunately for him, he had the malaise of having difficulty training during the COVID pandemic and being 5'3". Terrible news for anybody wanting to be in the NHL. So he wound up not getting drafted. And yeah, that's just another unfortunate story when it comes to NHL talent from Japan. They're just not a big enough sample size for that to be a major contributor. We've talked about Japanese players, but what about Japanese players? Japan has tried their hand at NHL ownership. One of the most illustrious hockey families in history, the Espositos, wanted to start a franchise once they'd retired. Both were NHL Hall of Famers, which naturally means they had no money. Initially, they had funding from the Pritzker family, a group of people with generational wealth and political influence, but they backed out. The Espositos wound up meeting with a company named Kokusai Green. This company was owned by a mysterious man named Takashi Okubo. The Espositos never met this man. He was apparently very hard to reach. The Espositos wanted to put this team in Tampa Bay. They had a name, the Lightning, and Kokusai Green just happened to have the money to make that happen. Unfortunately, by the sound of things, according to the Espositos, the Lightning was only seen as an investment opportunity. They'd have to get the franchise running. Unsurprisingly, Kokusai Green wound up being very neglectful. The Tampa Bay Lightning wound up being severely in the red when it came to making back their initial investment. However, Kokusai Green did not seem to care that the Tampa Bay Lightning were not giving them any money. And now we're kind of getting into conspiracy territory here, but people think there were Yakuza ties there. Japanese golfing companies, which Kokusai Green claimed to be, tend to have Yakuza ties. That's a thing that's very real. Hawaii or something had a couple golf courses that were owned by a Japanese golf company that wound up being audited, and they found, hey, this is a money laundering scheme. And people are pointing to that now, in hindsight, that that's very likely what Kokusai Green was. The word kokusai in Japanese means international, and the company in question is called International Green. Then they sell golf courses internationally. It's a bit, make your own assessments. Do your own research, people. That's what I say. Anyway, all in all, Japan has never really done much in the NHL, and when they have not succeeded. Why is that, you may ask? Truth is, it's really just a question of interest. Not that many people in Japan want to watch ice hockey. They've got the money for it. They've got the money for facilities. They've got the money for gear. And they've got the climate for it. It gets cold there. But it turns out when a country does not have any interest in the slightest, players don't feel the need to pursue that sport once they get the chance to play. One fix that I think would help is if you had a player like Ito Iguchi, if he were 6'2", put up crazy numbers in this league and wind up putting some interest in the league across the ocean. Min Sun from Korea ended up playing soccer in England. That sport gained a lot of traction in South Korea. Japanese player winds up having those kinds of numbers in hockey. See Japanese hockey take off. Our full players around the world never really much thought playing hockey. There'd be many a hidden gem in places that it doesn't even snow. So if you're from Japan, not 5'3", real, and not in the Yakuza, try it out. It's fun. I love it. You'll love it. And hopefully your country will love it when you make it big and make $1 billion. Then I'm fucking weird. Cocky. This is the end.
That works.
There we
Do
go.
you want him to like walk away, or does it just fade out, or?
I think we'll just fade out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To keep that in when it's like in black,
yeah.
that would be fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching episode 1 of InSight, the show where we put people in front of a camera and they talk about whatever they want to talk about. Big thanks to Ben for being our first guest and bringing us such an interesting topic. I'm Felix, I'm the producer of this show, alongside my co-producer and editor, Sunny. If you enjoyed this episode, leave us a like, maybe subscribe, and stay tuned. We've got more coming. Bye for now.
I love the ski.